If you're a leader who feels exhausted, reactive, and like you're running on empty no matter how hard you try to manage your time or set better boundaries, I want you to hear this. The problem is not your schedule anymore. The problem is your nervous system has hijacked you to protect you. I'm going to walk you through 7 strategies that actually address leadership burnout at the root level. Not surface level tips, not another productivity hack, but real lasting change that starts from the inside out. We're going to talk about why burnout happens in the first place, how to recognize it before it takes you down, and what you can actually do to build the kind of resilience that holds up when the pressure is real and the stakes are high. My name is Beverly Pagano. For the last 20 years, I've worked with leaders, teams, and organizations to better understand the relationship between stress performance, stress itself, communication, and well-being. My background includes nervous system education, somatic healing, and embodiment practices. And what that means in plain language is this. I help people understand what is happening inside their bodies under pressure and how to work with it instead of against it. Because here's what I know to be true. After 2 decades of this work, your body is always reading the room and influencing your responses long before your mind even catches up. So let's talk about burnout. Leadership burnout is on the rise, and it's becoming the norm in high-pressure roles. Leaders are expected to manage constant change, make rapid decisions, and stay available for their teams and somehow find balance, usually without enough support or recovery time. And most of the advice out there tells you to manage your time better, set firmer boundaries, or practice more self-care. And while those things are not bad advice, they tend to fall apart exactly when you need them most. And when pressure spikes, the boundaries go out the window. When the crisis hits, the self-care routine disappears. And here's why. Burnout is not just a workload problem, it's a nervous system problem. And until we address it at that level, nothing else is going to stick. So when chronic stress builds up without enough recovery, your nervous system gets stuck in fight or flight. And when that happens, your decision-making quality drops, your communication breaks down, and the ripple effects moves through your system and your entire team. Employee stress goes up, conflict escalates faster, execution stalls. The whole organization feels it, even though no one's naming it. So let's talk about what to do instead. The first strategy is to build awareness of your stress signals early. Hey, burnout doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, and your body is giving you signals the whole time. Things like feeling overwhelmed or decision fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, even thirst and digestive issues. These are not random. These are your nervous system telling you that the load is getting too heavy. Most leaders push through the signals because that's what leadership culture often rewards. But pushing through when your system is already overloaded only deepens the problem. The body whispers before it shouts. What starts as fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, or forgetting to meet basic needs can eventually affect our health, relationships, decision-making, and performance. The second strategy is to strengthen self-regulation under pressure. And I want to be really clear about what this means because it's not about staying calm while white-knuckling it. Okay, self-regulation is the ability to notice what is happening inside you and stay steady enough to choose how to respond. It's being flexible with purpose, and it's a trainable skill. It's not something you either have or you don't. When leaders practice flexibility in their nervous system, they stay grounded in high-stress moments. They catch reactive impulses before acting on them and create space to access what's actually needed. They can hold steady when the pressure is on, even when the path forward isn't obvious. And they make sound decisions when it matters most. The third strategy is co-regulation within leadership teams. Here's something most people don't realize. The way leaders respond to pressure shapes how teams respond to pressure. Think about a meeting where tensions are high and there isn't a clear answer. If the leader becomes reactive, rushed, or defensive, that often spreads through the room. People stop speaking up. Conversations become less productive. Teams can get stuck managing the tension instead of solving the problem. But the opposite is also true. When a leader can stay engaged and curious and grounded under pressure, it creates space for others to do the same. So teams communicate more openly, navigate disagreement more effectively, and stay focused on what matters most. The fourth strategy is to design recovery into your workflows. This is a big one. Recovery cannot be an afterthought. It has to be built into the structure of how you lead. So that means creating space between periods of intense demand. It means building moments to reset before moving from one high-stakes conversation, meeting, or decision to the next. It means making time for the fundamentals that sustain performance: movement, nourishment, hydration, rest, and realistic workloads. And when recovery is missing, pressure accumulates, patience gets shorter, decision-making becomes more reactive, small challenges begin to feel bigger than they are. And over time, what was once manageable can begin to feel overwhelming. Designing for recovery isn't a luxury. It's how you prevent today's pressure from becoming tomorrow's burnout. The fifth strategy is to reduce chronic cognitive overload. Leadership roles almost always involve constant decision-making, task switching, and information overload. And when your nervous system is chronically overwhelmed, the first things to go are patience, creativity, and strategic thinking. Reactivity takes over. And to address this, you have to simplify, limit competing demands, clarify your priorities, reduce the number of decisions you're making by creating clear systems and pathways. When you conserve your mental energy, you become more responsive and less reactive. And that changes everything about how you show up. The sixth strategy is to train your team to stabilize under pressure. A lot of leaders try to carry the emotional weight of the entire team. And I understand why. You care about your people, but that approach isn't sustainable. And it actually keeps your team from developing the capacity they need. When you invest in training your team in emotional regulation, communication stability, something shifts. The team starts to regulate together. The leader doesn't have to hold all of it alone, right? Regulated teams recover faster. They build shared trust, and the risk of burnout at every level goes down. The seventh strategy, and the one that ties everything together, is learning how to work with your nervous system as a foundation for leadership. Skills like communication, empathy, and decision-making do not exist in a vacuum. They depend on your ability to access them when the pressure's on. And when you're overwhelmed, reactive, or running on empty, those skills become harder to reach. You know what to do, but you can't always get to it. This is the missing piece in many conversations about burnout and leadership development. It's not just about learning new skills. It's about creating the conditions that allow those skills to remain available when challenges arise. And when leaders understand how to work with their nervous systems, they're better equipped to navigate pressure, support their teams, adapt to change, and lead effectively when it matters most. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Preventing burnout is not about doing more self-care. It's about building leaders and organizations that can navigate pressure without losing their ability to communicate, collaborate, and make sound decisions. When leaders understand how their nervous systems work and build the capacity to respond effectively under stress, communication improves, teams become more stable, and decision-making becomes more effective. They also begin to feel better in their own bodies. They have more energy, more capacity, and often rediscover the enjoyment and sense of purpose that brought them to the work in the first place. That is not a soft outcome. That's a performance outcome. It's a cultural outcome. And that is what lasting change actually looks like. If any of this resonated with you and you're looking for practical ways to help your team communicate better, navigate pressure more effectively, and reduce burnout, that's exactly the work we do at Glial Organizational Solutions. You can learn more about our workshops and programs on our website. And if you found this video helpful, share it with a leader who could use it. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.